My name is Sara Chen. I've been teaching for 6 years. I got into teaching because I just really love kids. I love being exposed to their energy and the joy that they have still in learning and in life and exploring. Where I had come from, yelling was not something that was out of the ordinary. Yelling until your face was red hot, about to explode. I really tried to control the behavior. I tried to control the children in my class just to kind of keep things calm. It was a lot of dismissing what was happening so that I could move on. No children were getting up out of their seats. No children were disrupting. No children had any kind of distractions. It's so normal to just say, okay, go sit down, let's keep going, because you feel the pressure to have to cover the curriculum. When I came here, I was looking for something new. So the very first time that I had heard of conscious discipline, I was actually applying for my job in this current position. It was 2 years ago, and I remember the administrators asked me what my discipline regimen was within my classroom. And I had been used to using the colors and the clips, and every day we had a conduct sheet, and I was actually really proud of it because I kept up with it every single day. All my kids had it, and so I had a model and a binder and everything to show her. And so I showed it to the administrators, and I thought they were going to be really impressed with my organization. And all they said was, would you be willing to change? We actually do something called conscious discipline at our school. I remember telling them, I have no idea what that is, but I would be willing to learn about it. Before the school year even started, my first year here, Karen Hickman came for kind of the 3-day pre-service training, and I just remember hearing some of the tools that she was providing with us and kind of the situational things. Have you ever, yelled so loud that your face was hot? And yes, every day when I used to teach, at my other school. And so for somebody to tell me, this is something new, it's worked, this has to do with your brain, and so for me, it just makes sense. Regulating yourself, that all of that applies to adults, it makes sense to me, so why wouldn't we teach it to our kids? One of the students that I had last year, his name is Alan, a little boy who had autism. When he first came to my class last year, he had come from a school for special needs kids. I just remember thinking, great, I get the one kid that came from a class of 8, and he's in this class with almost 28 children. When he came, he struggled with socially acceptable behaviors. He would cut his hair with the scissors, he would cut socks, and he just was not accustomed to making eye contact. He wasn't accustomed to being talked to. People would talk at him. He would throw temper tantrums, and he would have his arms crossed. Alan used to run too. He used to run away from me. He just didn't know how to interact with his peers. I wanted to help him integrate socially with the students. In the beginning, it was a lot of role playing, in which they love. First of all, what are some things you feel internally? And then also, how is that manifested, or what does that look like in somebody else? It's like, have you ever, been so upset, and, we did like situational things where your sister went into your room and she wasn't supposed to, and, you just felt your face getting hot and your fists were just doing this, and what were your feet doing? And so they would stomp their feet. Exactly. Well, here are some things you can do. This experience that I'm having, this emotion that I'm feeling right now, these are very specific tools, very applicable tools that I can use in this very moment. Began noticing that his meltdowns were increasingly smaller. It got to the point where at the end of the year, I didn't have any meltdowns from him. And now he's in 4th grade, and I get to see him every day in the hallway. Hi, Miss Chen. He always waves at me. But I see him, and he's adjusted so well. When I talk to his teacher, he interacts with his peers, he's doing his work, he's making great grades. He hasn't had a single meltdown this year. Throughout the day, there's disruptions, or there's issues, or somebody has a conflict with somebody else. The behavior that they're displaying is a form of communication. It's something that they're trying to tell me is going on internally. So being able to teach them in that moment, and stopping for 5 minutes, stopping for 10 minutes to discuss a problem, to resolve an issue, is not that detrimental to my lesson. It's not that detrimental to the curriculum, but that actually it's more valuable because now that I've introduced it to them, they've been able to use that as a way to communicate either to me in the moment, or they can communicate to their peers. And I've seen huge differences in just the way that my kids interact with each other. I'm having to problem solve less for them. I feel like conscious discipline has changed me internally more than it has my classroom operate. I think one of the big things that's helped me with managing disruptions is being connected to my kids and them feeling a connection with me. I can tell when a certain child is fidgeting a certain way that he's, bothered by something that happened at home. Controlling the child from the outside, definitely not as effective as teaching them how to control themselves and try to regulate themselves from the inside out.